Hi, my name is Kate of The Neverending Shelf, which is a young adult blog which does reviews, interviews, contests, etc. I'm here today to talk to you guys about one of my favorite series, The Looking Glass Wars by Frank Beddor. Basically, this is a series that follows Alice and her fellow citizens and friends in the hunt for her queendom. Basically, Frank Beddor has taken the classic Alice in Wonderland tale and done a giant twist with it. He takes the fiction and turns it into something that is also historical. He mixes in, parts of Alice Little's life into this fairy tale that we've all grown up with and we've all loved. Basically, the series starts with the first book, which is The Looking Glass Wars, and this is the story as you know it, with, of course, his classic twists. Basically, Frank takes everything that you thought you knew about Alice in Wonderland and makes you think about something different. Yes, you know how Alice fell down the rabbit hole and how she, came to battle, the Red Queen and all of that. But what Frank did is he took the classic tale and threw in twists from the actual historical aspects of it. So you have aspects of actually Alice Little's, who was the person that Charles Dodge based the series on. You have aspects of her life in it. So it's really good to see how he blends history and fiction, and it makes you really think. Do you know history? What do you know? And it makes you just question, is this real, or is, what the possibilities are endless with this series, is basically what I'm trying to say. In the first book, you get to meet Alice, you get to find her history, and how she came up to be in the real world. And it's a wonderful blend of magic, of fantasy, and even realism, because, you get the classic Victorian society, and you get just a bunch of different worlds into it. So you've got so much depth and so much dimension to these characters. And what I love about this series also is how he, adds in illustrations and stuff like that. So it really gives the reader a good glimpse into this world. So it's not all in your imagination. You have some basis for this. So it's like, I can't understand what this looks like. He gives you a picture pretty much just to kind of help you out, just to make sure that, you guys are on the same page almost. The first book is basically about her life. You follow her as she goes into the real world, as I said, and you are introduced to this world. You find out the basic premise of it. You find out, what is going on. In the second book, which is Seeing Red, Frank continues the series. In this one, Alice has actually come back from England, and she is now trying to become a queen. And it has a lot to do with her and her aunt, who is Aunt Red, basically. So Seeing Red kind of makes sense. You get to know a lot more about Red in this book, which I really liked because she actually ended up being one of my favorite characters. But I'll get on to more on that in a little bit as we go into Arch Enemy, which is the ending to this series. Basically, this series has something in it for everyone. If you're a boy, you have action, you have intrigue, you have, plots. There's so much in it for boys. But on the other hand, if you're like me and a female, there's also a lot in there for you as well. You have, the romance in it, you have the historical aspects of it, you have clothing aspects. I mean, there's so much in it for both male and females to enjoy. Also, what I love about this series is how the pairings work. There's so many different plots going on it. Yes, there's a big overlining plot. However, each grouping of characters basically has also their own little subplot. So you follow Alice and Dodge and their relationship. You follow Molly and Hattermagin as they find out about their family. You follow, Red and her past and her possible future. So I mean, there's so much in it that's depth. Now, what I want to say really is that Red, like I said, has actually ended up being one of my favorite characters. And the reason why, it is another reason why I love this book. Frank Better gives so much depth, so much three-dimensional feelings to these characters that you know them. And in the first book, Red is your quintessential evil character. You know, she's out to ruin the kingdom. She's out to basically be a bad guy, make everybody hate her. I mean, or at least the good guys, really. The second book, you find out a little bit more about her. You know, she has much more of a personality in this book. You find out, you know, how sad it must have been to be her, and you almost feel a little bit of pity towards her, but it's almost a bit of sympathy. And then in the third book, you know, she evolves a lot more as a character. And so by the end of the series, you know, I was really feeling like, wow, she's such a misunderstood person. Yes, she has the evil aspects to her, but, you know, there's so much more to that. And you wonder, you know, well, what if something had gone differently? What if, you know, she had been treated a little bit differently by, let's say, King Arch? You know, would she be a different person? Would she be a better person? You know, but there's no real way to tell because she's made the choices that she's made. And so it's really good just to watch her progression. You know, even with Alice, I mean, she makes giant strides as a character from book 1 to book 3. She just grows as an adult. She, you know, the book starts when she's in her teens, and it follows her, you know, she's, you know, early 20s basically. And, you know, there's so much growth for her. She was a little bratty when she was younger, and at the end, you know, she still has her doubts, but she becomes, you know, the queen that I think everybody wanted her to be almost. And, you know, there's just so much about this novel that I could tell you about, but I'm trying not to give spoilers away because I just think that this really is just one of the best series out there for young adults, even for teens. You know, there's no gratuitous sex, there's not a bunch of cursing, so I mean, it's very safe for adults to give this book to their child and feel confident about what they're reading. I mean, they're learning history, they're learning, you know, classic elements. I mean, it's almost a retelling of Alice, but not really, because the way that Frank Better has done it is, it's more of a what if. You know, what if you always thought that there was more to the story than there is? And this explores that. And there's just, oh, there's so much I could tell you about this series that just would take me forever, but I'm trying to make this short. So basically what I'm just saying is, go read it. I mean, there's a lot of elements in this to make somebody happy. I mean, if you want action, you've got action. If you want romance, it's there. So, I mean, you know, there's a little bit of it for everybody, and it's a great fantasy novel as well. So, that is me talking about the Looking Glass War series, and I hope you enjoy it. And I've also had a Alice in Wonderland week on my blog, which is www.theneverendingshelf.com. And so if you ever want to go by, I've got a bunch of reviews up there for The Looking Glass War, Seeing Red, and Arch Enemy. There was a whole week that I did that was dedicated to the Alice in Wonderland series and Frank Better series, as well as a tie-in. So if you're interested in that, just go look through my archives, and it's all there for if you want to see it, and there's some really good stuff. So hope you enjoyed. Thanks.